21 years is an incredibly long time in the video game industry. Long enough for 2 full console generations to come and go, for just as many FIFA games to release, and for Nintendo to squeeze Mario into hundreds of titles. We didn't bother counting, by the way. It also happens to be exactly how long I had to wait for what finally feels like a true successor to Team Hospital. And after spending dozens of hours with 2 Point Hospital, I can confidently say that this is the closest thing we've ever gotten to a modern Team Hospital sequel. That's immediately obvious the moment you start playing. The absurd humor, the ridiculous illnesses, the satirical take on healthcare, the radio announcements constantly talking nonsense in the background, it all feels incredibly familiar.
Maintenance announcement. Ghosts should be captured with the appropriate amount of respect.
And honestly, that's exactly what I wanted. 2 Point Hospital doesn't try to reinvent the formula. Instead, it understands what made Team Hospital special in the first place and modernizes it for a new generation. You can also feel that connection because several of the original developers behind Team Hospital worked on this game as well. That passion shows. This doesn't feel like a studio trying to imitate a classic management game. It feels like developers returning to a formula they genuinely understood. At its core, 2 Point Hospital keeps things wonderfully simple. Your job is to manage a hospital, build the facilities needed to keep people alive, diagnose bizarre illnesses, and somehow keep the entire operation profitable while chaos slowly unfolds around you. It starts small with a single hospital and only a few basic rooms to worry about. But as soon as you expand across 2 Point County, things become increasingly complicated. More patients arrive, more illnesses appear, staff become harder to manage, and suddenly you're juggling finances, staff training, machine maintenance, and hospital reputation, and also an endless queues of angry patients. You're managing everything at once. And honestly, this is where the game is at its best. The early hours are fairly relaxed, maybe even a little too relaxed at times, but once the pressure starts building, 2 Point Hospital becomes incredibly satisfying to play. There's always something demanding your attention, but the game rarely feels overwhelming. The basic gameplay loop is straightforward. Patients enter your hospital, get checked in at reception, wait endlessly for their appointment, and are sent through different diagnostic rooms before eventually receiving treatment. Depending on their illness, they might end up in a psychiatry, a ward, the surgery room, or one of the many specialized treatment rooms designed for the game's completely ridiculous diseases. And the illnesses themselves are still one of the biggest highlights. Patients walking around with frying pans stuck to their head in pandemic, or literal light bulbs replacing their skulls in lightheadedness. Perfectly capture the same type of humor that made Team Hospital memorable back in the day. Every new illness I unlocked made me curious to see just how ridiculous the next one would become, and they never disappointed me. As your hospital grows, the game gradually introduces more mechanics. You'll need to train your staff members so they specialize in certain fields, invest in research, improve machines, run marketing campaigns, and keep the hospital attractive enough that people don't immediately regret walking inside. Plants, vending machines, arcade cabinets, paintings, fountains, you can name it. Suddenly you're decorating the place almost like a theme park rather than a medical facility, and honestly, that fits the tone perfectly. What I personally appreciate most is how smooth and accessible everything feels compared to Team Hospital. Going back to the original today can honestly feel a little clunky. Building rooms, navigating menus, and managing staff require far more patience. 2 Point Hospital streamlines almost everything without losing the charm that made the original special. Room building is faster, the interface is cleaner, managing staff is easier, expanding your hospital feels intuitive instead of frustrating. In many ways, this is exactly how I remembered Team Hospital feeling when I played it years ago. Even if nostalgia probably made the original smoother in my memory than it actually was. That said, I do think 2 Point Hospital loses a little bit of the chaos that made Team Hospital so memorable at times. Team Hospital often felt unpredictable. Machines exploded constantly, emergencies spiraled out of control, and entire hospitals could collapse into complete disaster if you stopped paying attention for too long. 2 Point Hospital feels much safer and more controlled by comparison. Even when things go wrong, it rarely feels truly catastrophic. And honestly, I wanted a little more madness. The moments I enjoyed most were when everything completely fell apart at once. Machines breaking down, queues filling up, patients dying, ghosts floating through hallways, and staff threatening to quit while I desperately tried to hold the hospital together. Those situations create the best stories, and I honestly wish the game pushed players into that chaos more often and harder. Visually, the game absolutely nails the atmosphere. The characters look like they walk straight out of a Wallace and Gromit animation, and their exaggerated animations constantly made me smile whenever I zoomed in to watch the hospital from up close. The soundtrack is also very cheerful, the radio chatter is genuinely funny, and together they create an incredibly relaxing vibe that makes it dangerously easy to lose track of time. Although, speaking of time, the in-game waiting periods are absolutely insane. Patients casually waiting 100 days for treatment apparently counts as normal healthcare in 2 Point County. Maybe that's a part of the joke, but it's still horrifying to think about. Or maybe it's real life actually. Maybe it's closer to real life than I thought. Still, what impressed me most is that 2 Point Hospital never feels like it's trying too hard to copy Team Hospital. It respects the original while confidently becoming its own thing. The humor works, the management systems are addictive, and the overall pacing makes it incredibly easy to jump back into whenever you feel like playing for an hour or two. Could it have used more difficulty? Absolutely. Could it have benefited more from randomness and disasters? Most definitely. But after waiting for more than 2 decades for a worthy successor to Team Hospital, and then 10 years before making this review, I honestly think 2 Point Hospital succeeded. In some ways, it even surpasses the original. I think it's awesome and I will keep playing it for years to come. Hope you enjoyed the video. If it helped you out, just leave a comment what you thought about the video and what you thought about the game. Have you played it already? What are your thoughts about it? Are you buying the DLCs? I'm buying every fucking DLC from here. And hope to see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Bye, guys.